What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to part 2 of my skill inheritance guide series. And in this series I will be telling you guys the best skill sets and the best skill inheritance options for every unit. Before I begin, I just want to give a huge shout out to the creator of this tool. It is definitely my favorite tool to use, and link to his Tumblr is going to be in description down below. So I also want to thank you guys for all of your support on the first part of this series. I was really happy that you guys gave me so much support and I got so many nice comments. And today I'm going to be covering the remaining S tier units. If you haven't watched the first part, I covered all of the S plus tier units and some of the S tier units, so I definitely recommend you to watch that part first. So let's begin with Azura, and she's definitely considered to be the best singer slash dancer in the game, and Sapphire Lance is already so good for her because this has Triangle Adept 3 built into it and she's able to deal with red units, and Sing is like invaluable. There is no other assist skill in the game which can match utility of Sing and Dance. And for her special, we're gonna be giving her Moonbow because she's not gonna be attacking that much, and Moonbow gives the additional damage which she needs. And you can even run arghblargh if you want to, but overall I would say that Moonbow is much better because it has lower cooldown. For her slot A, we're gonna give her Fury, and for slot B, we're gonna give her Wings of Mercy, and for her slot C, we're gonna give her Hone Attack. Now, Hone Attack 3 was the only niche Olivia had before this mechanic came out, and now Azura can have her niche and pretty much have Hone Attack, and she's able to support her teammates even more. Wings of Mercy is definitely needed on any kind of singer or dancer because you're able to pretty much just teleport to any teammate which is below 50% HP, and that is just insane, to be honest. And then we have Fury because this makes Azura much better offensive unit, and she's able to pack more of a punch. So here we have our Azura, and here we have a standard Lucina. Now as you can see, Moonbow is ready and she does not have Fury, so she misses out on the KO on Lucina. But if we give her Fury, she's able to take out Lucina, and sometimes this is gonna be coming into the play and this might help you take out a unit. So Fury is definitely needed, not only because she's able to function as a better offensive unit, but also of the fact that she is able to hit this very nice benchmark speed of 36. Now if we do not give her Fury or her passive, which is speed plus 3, like, she gets outsped by a lot of units. So let's give her 33 speed, which she's gonna have if she does not have speed plus 3 or Fury. And as you can see, she gets outsped by so many units, and that is not good. So it's really necessary for her to hit this 36 speed, in my opinion, because it's a really nice benchmark speed to hit. It's kind of like Sharina syndrome because Sharina also wants to hit the 35 benchmark speed, so that's why Fury is just so good. You can even run Renewal if you want to, but Wings of Mercy is just so good. And if you really want to extend longevity of Azura, you can run Noontime, so it has good synergy with Fury. If you really want a much better red unit check, you can even give her Sword Breaker so that she's able to one round KO the majority of the sword users because she's able to double them, and Azura does pack a punch with Fury. So this was Azura's moveset. I would definitely give her Wings of Mercy because this is really good on any kind of singer, dancer or armored unit. So let's move on to our second unit, and now we're going to be talking about Eirika. Now the reason why Eirika is ranked so high is not because of the fact that she has some kind of offensive power, but because of the fact that she is a support goddess in this game. That's right, so here we have Eirika, and she has become much better with skill inheritance. So we're gonna get rid of pivot and give her rally defense. You can even run rally resistance, but in general rally defense is much better. And for her special, we're gonna give her Moonbow because she does not qualify for any kind of other skill. Like you cannot give her Draconic Aura because she does not have high attack. You cannot give her Bonfire because her defense isn't high. You cannot give her Arghblargh because she's not going to be getting the 15 points of additional damage. So Moonbow, in my opinion, is pretty perfect. And you want to give her Death Blow because she does not really have that kind of offensive power, so Death Blow definitely helps her. And for her slot B, you want to run Sword Breaker. Now the reason why I say Sword Breaker is because of the fact that she is a very good support unit, and being able to check red units and green units is really good. And I'll show you guys that Sword Breaker Eirika is actually really amazing. So here we have got Eirika, and we're gonna give her Sword Breaker. And here she's up against a Lucina, and she is gonna be able to 1-round KO this Lucina because of Death Blow. So yeah, as you can see right here, Death Blow and Sword Breaker are really nice on Eirika, and she's able to check red units. Let's take Marth into account as well. She's able to do a lot to Marth. Marth, of course, does have greater defense compared to Lucina, so that's why he's able to survive. So all you need is a bit of chip damage on Marth, and you will be able to take him out. And let's take a look at Rheoma, and she's able to 1-round KO Rheoma as well. So as you can see, Sword Breaker is really amazing, and home speed is honestly perfect for her slot C. And usually you want to run a blade weapon user like Tharja or Nino, because she's able to buff their stats a lot and give them the attack boost, because Eirika is able to buff 3 stats: home speed with her slot C, rally defense with her assist skill, and Sieglinde has Hone attack 2 built into it. So that's really amazing, and that's why Eirika is so highly ranked, and she's one of the best units in the game, and honestly one of the best support units in the game. So let's move on to our third unit, and now I'm going to be talking about Ninian, who is S tier, and she's a pretty good unit because she's a dragon and she's able to use dance. So we're going to be giving her this skill set. Moonbow is of course really good for dancers and singers because they're not going to be attacking that often, so the lower cooldown of Moonbow is really awesome. For slot A, we're going to give her Triangle Adept, and for slot B, we're gonna give her Wings of Mercy, which is of course the best slot B skill in my opinion for a singer or a dancer. And for her slot C, you can give her Hone Attack or Hone Speed. It's much better than Fortified Defense in my opinion, so that's why I just like to go with more offensive skills like Hone Attack or Hone Speed. I'd just go with Hone Attack, to be honest. Now Triangle Adept is very necessary because it makes her matchup against Falchion users much bearable, and I'll show you guys in a second. So here we have got Ninian with Triangle Adept. So here we have Lucina, the most powerful Falchion user, and if you look at this, she's only able to do 22 damage and Ninian does 32 damage back. Now if we remove Triangle Adept, Lucina is going to be doing 37 damage, and Ninian, even though she has the weapons triangle advantage, she's not able to do that much damage to Lucina. So that's why Triangle Adept is really needed in my opinion, and she's able to do much more damage to red units, and she's able to check red units even better. So let's take a look at Marth, and as you can see right here, Marth is only doing 19 damage while Ninian is doing 28, and if we remove Triangle Adept, Ninian only does 21 and Marth does whopping 33 damage. That's quite a lot in my opinion. So yeah, Triangle Adept is really needed, as you guys can see. With Wings of Mercy, she is able to teleport around and teleport to any ally which is below 50% HP. This is a really good support skill in my opinion. You can even run Sword Breaker if you really hate Falchion users and you want to 1-round KO them. So Sword Breaker is an option if you want to do that. Otherwise, Wings of Mercy is a really good option. So this was Ninian. Her skill set is pretty straightforward. You can even give her Lightning Breath, but in my opinion, Light Breath Plus is better for her because she's able to buff 3 stats of teammates. 2 stats with Light Breath and 1 stat with her C slot. So that's why she is able to do a much better job of a support unit. Plus, Lightning Breath is for a frontline unit like Noe. It's not for a support unit like Ninian. So honestly, Light Breath Plus is pretty good on her. So this was her skill set. So let's move on to our 4th unit. And now I'm going to be talking about Linde, or Linda, however you want to pronounce her name. So let's take a look at Linde. She is an absolute monster. And here we have got Linde. Now we're going to be giving her Moonbow for her special. And her Ardent Sacrifice assist skill is honestly really perfect with the skill set which we are about to go. We're gonna give her Life and Death, and look at these offensive stats: 54 attack and 41 speed. That's so much, oh my god. And for her slot B, we're gonna give her Desperation. For her slot C, you can run Threat and Speed, or you can even run Threat and Resistance, but in my opinion, Threat and Speed is really good with Desperation, because after Threat and Speed debuff, she's able to outspeed like pretty much a lot of units, like plus speed Marth, plus speed Lucina, plus speed Minerva, and pretty much everyone, I would say. So Threat and Speed is amazing on her, and 1 Ardent Sacrifice is gonna bump her into the Desperation range. So that's really good because she does not have to indulge in any kind of combat, and by default she comes with Ardent Sacrifice, so that's really nice. And for her weapon, this is gonna be the final change that is gonna turn Linde into a complete nuke. And we're gonna give her Odin's Blargh Blade Plus. And I'll show you guys how broken this Linde can actually be. So here we have got Linde, and she has got Blarblade Plus, Life and Death 3, Desperation 3, and Moonbow. Let's say that she used one Ardent Sacrifice and now she's at 25 HP and she's in her Desperation range, which means that her follow-up attacks are gonna occur instantly. And let's assume that she has her Moonbow ready and she's up against Julia, who is one of the best counters in the game. And keep in mind, this is a plus resistance Julia, and Julia also has the Weapon Strangle advantage against Linde. So let's give her the standard boost from Eirika, because like I said before, with any kind of blade type of weapon user, you always want to use a kind of buffer like Eirika. So let's give her the standard Eirika boost, which is +3 attack from Sieg Linde, +4 speed from Hone Speed, and +4 defense from Rally Defense. And let's see how well she does against one of her best counters in the game, which is plus resistance Julia. And she is able to one round KO this Julia, which is absolutely insane. And as you can see by the stat table, Julia is the second green unit in the stat table which has got the highest resistance. And the first one is Sheena. So let's check Sheena. Here we have got Sheena, and she also dies to Linde. And if this Linde does not have Moonbow ready, she still dies to her, and that is just insane. Let's also look at Jagan, who has got 35 resistance, one of the highest in the game. So let's have Jagan, and keep in mind Moonbow is not ready right now. So Jagan also dies, which just shows you how insane Linde can be. And then we have got Riss, who has got the highest resistance stat. So let's also calc against Riss, just in case you guys have any kind of doubt about Linde's power. So Riss also dies, and this Linde is just absolutely broken. Like, she is able to decimate all of her counters, like Weapon Strangle, advantage or disadvantage, doesn't matter to her. Look at this Camilla, she dies as well, and she is a green unit, and she has got the third highest resistance of all of the green units. You can see right here, she's got 31 resistance. So yeah, this Linde is absolutely broken. Now, there are definitely some cons of this build, because you will have to spend 20,000 feathers on a unit like Odin just to sacrifice him to Linde. But if you really want to create this destructive goddess, I think you should go for it. Now, some of you guys might say that if you just sneeze in her direction, she will just vanish because her defense is 9. That's really low. But keep in mind, guys, they cannot kill you if you kill them first. So this Linde is an absolute monster. You can even run Fury if you want to, if you cannot give her Life and Death. But Life and Death is the superior skill which she has to run to be able to become this broken destructive goddess. And that was Linde, the best blue mage in this game. So let's move on to our 5th unit, and now we're gonna take a look at Ephraim, who has risen to S tier. And this is my favorite Ephraim set. So we're gonna give him Rally Defense for his assist skill. His special Moonbow is already so good, and for his slot A, we're gonna give him Fury, and this makes him a much better offensive and a defensive unit. And for his slot B, we're gonna give him Lance Breaker, and for his slot C, we're gonna give him Hone Speed. Now, the reason why this set is my favorite is because of the fact that he's able to do so many roles. Like, he can be a support unit, and he can become a buffer, and he can also check red units and lance units because of Lance Breaker. And that's why he has risen up to S tier, because he's just become such a great unit now. He's actually got a couple of options for his slot B. You can even run Sword Breaker if you really hate sword units, but Lance Breaker, in my opinion, is better for him with Fury, because he's actually able to one round KO Effie through her Very Fighter skill. So I'll show you guys the calc. This only works with Fury, by the way, and Lance Breaker actually cancels out Effie's Very Fighter. So with Lance Breaker, as you guys can see, he's able to one round KO a neutral speed Effie, and this will not work for a plus speed Effie. And who runs plus speed Effie? Of course, no one does. So that's why Lance Breaker is just so good on him, because like I said before, he's got good matchup against sword units, and he's also able to deal with lance users. And if you want, you can even let him have his threatened defense back, which is to match his default playstyle, but it's up to you. Renewal is also a really good option in my opinion, because it has got good synergy with Fury, so Renewal can be a really good option on a tanky unit like Ephraim. So it really depends on your team, to be honest, because if you're using a unit like Nina or Tharja, you of course want to go with a support Ephraim, and if your team hates sword users, you can run Sword Breaker, and if your team has tough times with lance users, you can just run Lance Breaker. In my opinion, Lance Breaker is the best option from my experience, but yeah, like I said, it's up to your team, it's up to your preference. So this was Ephraim's skill set. Now let's move on to our 6th unit and let's discuss Minerva. So Minerva is actually one of my favorite units in the game, and I like to run this skill set on her. So for her assist skill, we're gonna give her Reciprocal Aid. For a special, we're gonna give her Moonbow, because Moonbow becomes a 1-turn cooldown special because of her odd clear, and that is just really broken. And for her slot B, we're gonna give her Desperation because she has got a really nice speed thanks to Life and Death. And for her slot C, you can give her Threaten Defense or Threaten Speed. It's up to you. Threaten Speed is much better with Desperation in my opinion. And if you want, you can even give her Fury to make her a bulkier Minerva. But honestly, like a offensive unit like her prefers having Life and Death. I mean, she does come with Life and Death by default, so I don't really see any kind of reason not to use the skill. And there are a couple of options for her slot B. You can even run Vantage. Vantage is a good defensive option, but in my opinion, Desperation is better. You can even run Escape Route because at times Minerva can get low on HP. She's not exactly a glass cannon. She has the status above of a glass cannon, but she can definitely get low on health. So Escape Route can be used, but all in all, Desperation is much better in my opinion with her build. And if you want, you can even run some Hone skills like Hone Attack or Hone Speed, but Threaten Speed actually does contribute to her skill set. Reciprocal Aid allows her to reach her Desperation skill. So this is her skill set, and Moonbow and Odd Clear are so broken together because she's gonna be triggering Moonbow so many times in an average game. It's actually pretty amazing. So let's move on to our 7th unit. Let's take a look at Olivia, the dancer, which everyone is able to get because of the special maps. So Olivia is right here. Her reason why Azura was always better than Olivia was because of the fact that Azura had Sapphire Lance, and that weapon had Triangle Adept skill built into it. So Azura could successfully take out red units, but Olivia, even though she was a red unit, was not able to take out green units that easily. So that's why we're gonna be giving her Triangle Adept as her slot A skill, and we're gonna be giving her Moonbow because she's not gonna be attacking that often, just like any other dancer or singer. And for her slot B, we're gonna give her Wings of Mercy, which, like I've explained before, is a perfect skill to have on a singer or a dancer. And we're gonna leave slot C as it is. Now, Triangle Adept is mainly there to take care of Hector, because if you're a red unit and if you're having trouble taking out Hector, then there is some serious problem, honestly. So Triangle Adept is gonna help Olivia. So I'll show you guys that with a calc. So Hector is gonna be the attacker because we never attack Hector when we're facing him in arena. You always wanna bait out Hector, you never wanna approach him first. And we're gonna give Olivia Triangle Adept, and her slot B skill and slot C doesn't really matter in this case. Moonbow is needed, and Olivia is able to do so much damage to Hector. Like, look at this, Hector will end up at 7 HP, and that is pretty good. And she only loses 5 HP in the combat, which takes care of one of her biggest problems. And without Triangle Adept, you do not do that much damage to Hector, and he's able to survive with a lot of HP actually, and you take a lot more damage actually. So as you can see, Triangle Adept is really nice in my opinion. Before Triangle Adept, you had to like run another Sword Lord to take care of Hector because Olivia couldn't take care of Hector on her own. But now that skill Inheritance is out, she is able to take care of Hector alone, and you can even run Fury on her slot A, and both skills are pretty good, but Triangle Adept is much preferred in my opinion. And Wodao Plus from Karel can also be run on her if you want to increase her damage output. And you can even run Armor Slayer Plus if you really hate Hector and you wanna like 1-round KO Hector, because Armor Slayer does do that. So as you can see, Hector gets 1-round KO'd by Armor Slayer Plus. Olivia, so it's all up to you. In my opinion, Silver Sword Plus is pretty decent because it's able to do more damage against other green units like Minerva. So this is the skill set for Olivia, and now let's move on to our 8th unit, and now I'm going to be discussing Julia. So this is the skill set which I like to run on Julia. So for her assist skill, we're going to give her Reposition, because Reposition is a really good skill and it lets you move an ally out of the attack range after that ally has attacked. And we're gonna replace her Dragon Fang with Draconic Aura, because Draconic Aura is better than Dragon Fang due to the lower cooldown, and Julia will not be able to proc Dragon Fang too much due to her low speed, and Draconic Aura gives you 16 points of additional damage. It's a much consistent skill in my opinion. And for slot B, we're gonna give her Green Tome Breaker. And the slot C is up to the player's preference. In my opinion, I like to go with Threatened Resistance because she is able to do much more chip damage to the red units. Now, a lot of people might want to give her Nino's Ground Blade Plus, but Nino does a better job as a blade weapon user in my opinion due to her higher speed, and I think you should let Julia have her niche Naga Tome, which is super effective on dragons. Triangle Adept is also an option which people like to consider, but I would say that it's not that optimal because it makes matters worse for her in getting damage on young Tiki and getting chip damage on red units. And people also like to run Life and Death on her like all of the other mages, but the speed boost she gets from Life and Death doesn't really help her outspeed anything. It just reduces her defenses, to be honest. So that's why Deathblow is the perfect skill for her on slot A in my opinion. Deathblow also ensures that you one-shot Lance users like Ephraim and Sharina. Green Tomebreaker lets you deal with Nino, and as you guys saw my previous skill inheritance guide video, Nino can be really scary, and this can also help you in mirror match versus other Julias. For slot B, there are actually a couple of options. You can even run Blue Tomebreaker if you really hate facing Linde, and you can even run Lance Breaker if you want to double the Lance users, and you should only run Lance Breaker if you have a plus B Julia, because a plus B Julia is actually able to one round KO Effie through her Very Fighter skill, and I'll show you guys that in a moment. So here we have Julia, and here we have Effie. So she has got Lance Breaker skill, and like I said, we have to assume that this is a plus B Julia. So she's going to be having 29 speed, and as you guys can see, Julia is able to successfully one round KO Effie. So only run this skill if you have a plus B Julia, otherwise you should just go with Blue Tomebreaker or Green Tomebreaker. Quick Riposte is also a really good option because Julia is a monstrous mage killer, so you can even do that. And like I said, slot C is up to you. So that's Julia for you, and let's talk about our 9th unit. Now this time I'm actually going to be talking about a A-tier unit because there is only one S-tier unit left, which is Eldigan, and we're going to be talking about him at the last. So that's why I'm going to be covering a A-tier unit, and this unit is actually a free-to-play unit, and I'm talking none other than Corrin. She was actually given to all of the Android players through a reward. So let's take a look at female Corrin. She actually has 2 sets in particular. So here we have female Corrin. First of all, please do not try to give her Lightning Breath and try to make her like Noe. Noe is a tanky frontline unit, while female Corrin is a tanky debuffer. The roles are different, and that's why Dark Breath Plus is perfect for her. And for her assist skill, we can either give her Reposition. As I've explained before, Reposition is an excellent skill because it lets you put an ally out of the enemy attack range, and you can even put Swap because Swap is pretty good on Corrin as she's got good defense, so she can switch places with a unit who is in the enemy's attack range and pretty much put herself in the enemy attack range. And we can replace Draconic Aura with Bonfire. Draconic Aura gives her a measly 12 additional damage, and with Fury, Bonfire actually gives her additional 18 damage, so Bonfire is much better, and Fury for slot A is really nice as well. And for slot B, we're gonna give her Renewal because Renewal has got a good synergy with Fury, and Renewal is honestly really good on a tanky unit like female Corrin. You can leave slot C as it is, but if you give her Threaten Resistance, she's actually able to debuff 3 stats of opponents, so that's why Threaten Resistance can be really good option on her. And you can even run Sword Breaker on her B slot if you want to double and kill Sword users and Falchion users specifically. And if you want, you can even run Sacred Cowl for her special because she hasn't really got that high resistance, so this can certainly help her taking the magical hits and taking on the ranged attacks. So it's up to you. Sacred Cowl is a defensive option and Bonfire is an offensive option, and this was female Corrin's first skill set. For her second skill set, you always want to run Triangle Adept, and for her slot B, she has got two options. You can either run Sword Breaker or you can run Quick Riposte. It's up to you. And Quick Riposte actually has more uses and it covers more options compared to Sword Breaker, so it's preferred over Sword Breaker. So this lets her double attack and kill almost all of the red units, especially the Falchion users, which can give her a tough time. And these are the two best sets for female Corrin in my opinion. It's up to you which set you want to run, and it's also up to your team synergy which set you want on female Corrin. So let's move on to our final unit for this video, and it is gonna be Eldigan, which is the last S tier unit which I have to cover. So Eldigan is one of my favorite units in this game as well, which I'm not able to get for some reason. So for his assist skill, we're gonna give him drawback because it's a really good support skill in my opinion. And for his special, we're gonna give him Moonbow. A lot of the units in this video actually had Moonbow, and that's because Moonbow is such a good option. And Moonbow is actually broken with Eldigan's weapon because it becomes a one-turn cooldown move, just like how it becomes a one-turn cooldown move for Minerva and Michaelis. So that's why you want to run Moonbow on him. Fury is already such a good option on him, you really do not want to change anything. And for his slot B, you want to give him Sword Breaker so that he is able to check sword units. Not only he's able to check green units like with his defense, and because of his color, he's also able to check sword units now because he's got a really good defense stat and he can actually one round KO almost all of the red units. I'll show you guys that with a calc. So here we have got Eldigan, and let's give him Sword Breaker for his passive skill, and let's put him against Ryoma. Not Rai, I said Ryoma. Yep. So he's able to one round KO Ryoma, and he's not going to be taking that much damage back because he has got amazing defense. Let's put Lucina against him, and Lucina is also one round KO'd, which is amazing. And let's put Marth, and Marth is also one round KO'd. So Sword Breaker is just amazing for him. You can even run Renewal because Renewal has good synergy with Fury, and Eldigan is a pretty bulky unit, but you guys saw how Sword Breaker can check red units. So it's up to you if you want to take the offensive option in Sword Breaker or a defensive option in Renewal. And for his slot C, it's up to you. You can run Hone Speed or Hone Attack because he is a Cavalier unit, so he has got a good movement. You can run that, or if you're running a Horse Emblem team, you can run Hone Cavalry, which you can get from Gunter, and you now do not have to run Gunter on your Horse Emblem team, and you can run a much better unit. So it's up to you which skill you want for his slot C. You can even give him Threaten Defense if you want to, and this lets him do even more damage. He has already got 51 attacks, so this lets him hit much harder. And that is Eldigan's skill set. So in this video, I covered the remaining S tier units, and I also covered female Robin. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, it helps a ton. And please share this with your friends who play Fire Emblem Heroes. This will definitely help them. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next episode of my series. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.